As some of you might have known, my plan is to cover one ACI course a month, despite the busy schedule. I think in Asia, we are kind of slow in terms of ACI. So I think with this, we can speed up the learning for Asians. Personally, I like DCI very much, and I think it's a very amazing teaching by our great teacher, Geshe Michael Roach. Yes, we know that ACI is the base for all the other amazing teachings like DCI, for example. In fact, if you know from mixed nuts, the content will actually flow down to ACI before we flow it into DCI. So DCI is the I would say is the basic. And DCI is very much dealing with Dharma, I would say. But of course, we want to make this available to everybody, regardless of religious background. So let's start our ACI 2 now. On the administration side, right? I really encourage all of you to try to do the homework and the quiz and the final exam. This time round, I'm not preparing any platform for you to do, but instead, I would like to encourage all of you to go to ACI website to do the assignments, right? So yes, I'm doing the teaching. We are doing the recording, but please go to ACI platform to do your assignments. Personally, I don't make it compulsory for you to do the assignment. I don't even make it compulsory for attendance, okay? My hope is that come as often as you can. Try to make time for it. But if last minute you have something very urgent with your family, with your work, then it's okay, you know. There is no penalty here, but there is only reward. The reward of coming is that you will be able to understand more. Okay, so this is my style, all right? And my purpose is I want everybody to at least learn and listen to the teaching, to the amazing teaching, so that we all can become a better person. Of course, the other style that I have is to encourage people to turn on the video. All right, I would like to thank Ivo, Emil, Alice, and Rio for turning on video. The rest of you, if you are comfortable, please also turn on the video so that we can have a conversation, so that it is not one way, okay? So this is my introduction. We have done ACI 1 a few months ago, 2 months ago, in November, no, 3 months ago. If you have not attended that one, or if you want to review, please go to the Telegram group, DMO Dharma, and listen to the recording, okay? ACI 1, each ACI course is supposed to be independent, except 10, 11, 12, which is consecutive, right? But the other courses, all the other courses are independent. Of course, if you have time to listen to ACI 1, it's very recommended. If not, then focus on ACI 2 first, and then find time to listen to ACI 1. Okay, and some people say I'm busy during certain month that I cannot attend. It's okay, don't worry, but try to find time to listen to the recording, and then we can have a conversation. Okay, so that is my rule of engagement. So it's easy, it's simple, and I hope we all can enjoy the learning together. Okay, now thank you very much to Ivo and Emil for translating to Vietnamese and Indonesia. I really appreciate their effort to help bring this to more people. Okay, now let's start our class. Okay. Oh yeah. For ACI 2, the schedule, if you look at it, it's a bit strange, right? So I am doing actually, if you have seen the schedule, it is Monday, Tuesday, and then Friday, Saturday. No, Monday, Tuesday, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The reason is because my wife and we are flying to US on Wednesday. And so for the travel, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I move it to the 3 days later. It will be, I foresee it will not be easy for me at least. So I try to make it easier for my body to adjust to the US timing, all right? Okay, let's start the class. So this is ACI 2, which is called Buddhist Refuge, right? And today we are going to cover class 1 and 2. So each day we are going to cover 2 classes, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Okay, and class 1, let's start with the mandala, okay? Let's start with the mandala. If you see on the left-hand side, this is the hand mudra for the mandala, okay? So let's read together. I like to read in Tibetan, okay? The meaning, we can discuss it separately. We cover this in ACI 1, but for now, maybe you just follow the reading, okay? Sasi puki juksing metok tram rirab ling si nyinde genpadi sangge singdu mikte ulwargi trokun namdak sing la cuparsyo idam guru ratna mandalakam niryatayami sangge chudang zoki chok nam la Jang chu bardu dagni kyap suci daki chunyen gipe sunam ki drola pencir sangge du parsyo sangge chudang zoki chok nam la jang chu bardu dagni kyap suci daki chunyen gipe sunam ki drola pencir sangge du parsyo Sangge chudang zoki chok nam la jang chu bardu dakni kyap suci daki chunyen gipe sunam ki dola pencir sangge du parsyo. Okay, in simple term, the first one we call the name is mandala. So we are offering mandala. Mandala represents the perfect world. So when we do this offering, we wish that what we are learning tonight will be able to help us create the perfect world for all beings. So this is the meaning of mandala. So you can see this is the mandala hand mudra, right? And this is what we call a simple mandala. Okay, simple mandala. Of course, there is a more complicated mandala, right? And then at the end of this prayer, we bring the mandala inwards, and then we make into the 2 hands together. And then this is called Kyamdro Semke. Kyamdro Semke means taking refuge and bodhicitta. Okay, taking refuge and bodhicitta. So what it means is that I'm taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I'm taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Oh, I am giving my respect, Kyapsuchi, to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Yeah, and then by the fact that, so I changed this Jinsok to Chunyan. By the fact that I'm listening to the teaching, yeah, the merits of me listening to the teaching will help me to bring me into the enlightenment. Yeah, so this is the simple meaning of the Kyamdro Semkye. Kyamdro and Semkye, okay? All right, so Buddhist refuge. ACI 2, this is the syllabus, okay? There are 5 main topics that we are going to discuss here. First is what is refuge? And we are going to cover this today, class 1 and 2. And then class 3 and 4, we are going to talk about bodhicitta and the wish for enlightenment, what they mean and what we should do. Class 5 and 6, talking about nirvana, what is nirvana? Class 7, we talk about the object that we deny. Yeah, the Chinese translation is a bit strange, okay? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't check the Chinese, but it just sounds strange. Puti Sin. Okay, I am not so sure. So anyway, the object we deny. In order to understand emptiness, we need to understand the object that we deny first. And then once we understand the object that we deny, definition of emptiness is the absence of the object that we deny. Okay, so that is the definition of emptiness. And of course, after we understand the object, we will then talk about the proof for emptiness. And this is 8-9. And the final class is talking about Maitreya. So Maitreya has a very special position in ACI 2. Let's find out. So first, today we are talking about the refuge. We're talking about refuge. And yeah, we are talking about refuge, right? So we are going to cover what is refuge, 3 places of refuge or 3 types of refuge, 3 places of refuge, 5 kinds of extraordinary of taking refuge, the purpose of taking refuge, and the purpose of taking refuge, right? By the way, what is refuge in Tibetan? Anybody remember? We learned this in ACI 1. What is refuge in Tibetan? Anybody remember? Anybody wants to try? Okay, doesn't matter. It's Ngenjung. It's Ngenjung. Okay, let's say together Ngenjung. Ngenjung means renunciation. Okay, so we take refuge. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Refuge is a Kyamdro. My apology. Kyamdro. Kyamdro is refuge, right? Yeah, Kyamdro is refuge. Okay, now let's talk about source, the subject and the ancient source, right? If you recognize, this is Pora Jing, is a Prasna Paramita. So the source is, the Prajna Paramita Sutra. Prasna Paramita Sutra, right? This sutra was taught by Sakyamuni Buddha. And there are 3 main books, right? The long, the medium, and the short. There are actually more than this. There are more than this. But here we talk about 3 versions, 100,000 verses, 20,000 and 8,000. All these are done in verse. In the short version, right? we can find the Dhammapada Sutra, for example. We can find the Heart Sutra, for example. So Prajnaparamita Sutra is a very big sutra. Inside, there are many smaller sutras that we are familiar. Dhammapada Sutra, Dhammapada Sutra, we all are very familiar. Heart Sutra, I think we are also very familiar, right? And together, all these are called Mother, Mother Sutra. Why we call it Mother? Because this sutra, Perfection of Wisdom, this is called Perfection of Wisdom, produces Buddhas. So because it is Mother giving birth to Buddhas, that's why Prajnaparamita is also called Yum, which means Mother. And then, not long after that, right? About 850 years later, if you know the story about Master Asanga, who went for 3 years silent retreat to find Maitreya, and he went 4 rounds, 12 years. And I think we discussed about this story in the Mixed Nuts. Yeah, I think, Rio, you attended Mixed Nuts. I hope you remember we talked about the story of Master Asanga trying to find Lord Maitreya, right? There's a story. I think some of you might have heard the story. It's kind of interesting story. And finally he met, and then the story is pretty interesting. So, and then after he met Maitreya, he was kind of complaining, "Hey, Maitreya, I've been trying to find you for the past 12 years. Why did you just appear now?" You know? Yeah, Tim Lowenhop, right? So why did you appear now after 12 years? And Maitreya said, "No, I have been around, just that you don't have the seats to see me." So I think this is a very interesting. And then Maitreya said, "Okay, now what's the deal? Why did you spend 12 years to find me?" "Oh, because I want to learn more about the perfection of wisdom." So Maitreya said, "Okay, if you want to learn perfection of wisdom, come, let's go to my home, my paradise. Yeah, the Tusita heaven or Ganden. Yeah." So, and that's when Maitreya taught Asanga 5 books about related to the Prajnaparamita, and then he came back, and then he wrote the books. So we are going to use the book called Ornament of Realizations. And this is the book that explained about the Prajnaparamita. And of course, this is not an easy book. Therefore, 500 years after that, we have Haribhadra, who wrote the commentary called Clarification on this Ornament of Realizations. Okay. Yeah, Haribhadra, right? 500 years later. And this is also not easy. Therefore, 600 years later, 700 years later, Kedrap Tempa Darge wrote a commentary to Clarification called Analysis of the Perfection of Wisdom. Kedrap Tempa Darge is somebody very special. He is the textbook writer of the Serame Monastic University. If you know Serame, right? Serame is the monastic university that Geshe Michael and his teachers came from. And of course, naturally, we will use the writings by our own masters. Kedrap Tempa Darge, during his time, was a very special. He was the abbot. Abbot means the leader of the monastery. At the same time, after that, he became the throne holder of the Je Tsongkhapa. What does it mean by throne holder? In Tibet, traditionally there are three main monastic universities group, right? Group means there are many universities below them. I think you all must have heard about Nyingma, heard about Sakya, heard about Gelug. And Gelug is one big group, one major group. And inside Gelug, there are many affiliated monastic universities, Ganden, Drepung, Sera. And then, of course, Sera, we have Sera J, Sera May. So the leader of this Gelug is called throne holder, throne as in throne, the king's throne, throne holder. And it is a position that will be changed every few years, right? So Kendra Tempa Darge was, I think, number 35 or 38 throne holder from Je Tsongkhapa. Okay, so that is him. So he's a big guy. He's a big shot. So Prajna Paramita Sutra, the Chinese call it Po Re Jing, and we call it the perfection of wisdom in English, right? So there are a few meanings of perfection of wisdom, right? Of course, the common one is the book, is the sutra, but it also has another meaning, perceiving emptiness under the influence of love. It also have so this is the meaning, right? This is another meaning. Now let's talk about the process, right? So DP is a very important milestone that we all want to arrive at. Oh, I see Rio is carrying his boy. Very, very, very auspicious birth. Yeah, the boy was born in December 7, is that? Or December 8, 7, right? Yeah. 10 days before Geshe Michael's birthday. Yeah. So DP is a very important milestone that we all of us want to arrive at. Okay. DP stands for direct perception of emptiness. We call it direct perception, but it is not about us seeing the emptiness. It is about us getting into the experience of emptiness. It's not even a feeling, it's just an experience. It's just an experience, right? And immediately after the DPE, we will go through what we call the direct perception of bodhicitta, right? And that is when, if you listen to Geshe Michael's story, you will start to see all the beings, starting from your mother and father, your siblings, your wife, your family, and then people, your neighbors, your friends, and then people in all over the world, and then all the animals, insects, and then beings from other planets. And we promise them that we have the love and compassion for them. We will help them. Yeah. So this is what we call the direct perception of bodhicitta. Okay. And so when we get into DPE, we become an Arya. But when you go through the love and compassion stage, bodhicitta, you become an Arya Bodhisattva, right? Arya Bodhisattva. Okay, now, let me go back. My question, can you become a Bodhisattva before you become an Arya? Can you become a Bodhisattva before Can you become a Bodhisattva before DPE? Is that possible? When you look at this picture, it seems that Bodhisattva will only happen after you have DPE and love and compassion. But can you become a Bodhisattva Before you go to DPE.
Ở ngoài mới ra được cái cục này.
Okay, I will say yes. Yes, that's the answer, right? The difference is the B, the big B and the small b. Oh, Angela also. Ah, Angela, welcome. So the big B and the small b, right? Typically, we put the big B for Arya Bodhisattva, a Bodhisattva who have had DPE. But you can become a Bodhisattva with small b when you have love and compassion, all right? So this is some technical terms, all right? Terminology. Okay, so let's talk about terminology. Bodhicitta means, when you have bodhicitta, you have bodhisattva. What is bodhicitta? Bodhicitta means the wish to get into enlightenment so that you can help all the living beings, right? Yes, you can have DPE, yeah. Emptiness directly perceived under the influence of deepest love. And then only after we go into DPE, then we can train ourselves to reach nirvana. Okay. Now let's continue. And then another stage is total enlightenment. So, of course, you can go through DPE, nirvana, and total enlightenment, but total enlightenment will only happen when you have bodhisattva, when we have bodhicitta. Okay. So when you have DPE, you are called Arya. When you go into nirvana, you are called Arhat. And then when you get into total enlightenment, you become Buddha. Okay, so this is the different terms. Okay, I hope you get it, yeah. Typically, if you are in the Mahayana path, you will go the top bodhisattva, and then you can become enlightened, right? So you don't have to go through nirvana before total enlightenment. If you are in the Mahayana path, you can skip this. That is, from DP you can get enlightenment directly, right? Therefore, we try to encourage people to go through Mahayana path with the bodhicitta. Yeah. Otherwise, once you get into nirvana, you still have to go through the bodhisattva path to become enlightened. Yeah. So that is the recommendation. Okay. And this is basically the terminology that we use in the perfection of wisdom. Prajna paramita. Prajna paramita. All right. Now let's talk about refuge. What is refuge? Okay, what is refuge? Very cute, huh? There are two main terms related to refuge, right? The first one is the fear. The first one is fear. So fear, what fear? We realize that something is wrong. Then I don't know how to handle, or powerless to handle. And this is the fear. You know, when I was, before I understood all this Dharma, right? I used to have a lot of fear. I just felt that life is uncertain. And I felt that a lot of things just happen. A lot of things happen because of luck, you know. So I used to wonder, how do I always have good luck? Because I don't want to go through difficult life. And I was very afraid of bad luck. I think a lot of us also share the same sentiment, right? We are afraid of bad luck. We want to have good luck. And this is, and I used to try to find a solution so that I don't have to, so that I can always have good luck. And because of that, you know, I learned a lot of things. I went to a lot of places to ask for, so that I can have the good luck. the second part of refuge is belief. Belief that there's an object with the power and willingness to help me. Yeah, I think this is very common, right? When we fear of something, we will find protection, and before we can get the protection, we must believe that something can protect us. Yeah, so technically there are two components, fear and belief, but I like to add the third one, fear, belief, and hope for protection. Once I believe, I hope that the object will give me protection. Okay, so this is the meaning of refuge. Now there are two kinds of refuge, right? We call it the ordinary refuge and the extraordinary refuge. Now, before we go there, let's talk about the refuge that we are going to teach in ACI 2. We are talking about taking refuge to the three jewels. Three jewels, right? What are the three jewels? Basically, the Buddha jewel, Dharma jewel, and Sangha jewel. Buddha jewel refers to what? It refers to the ultimate place of refuge that satisfies both needs. What are these two? Self and others, right? So Buddha refuge is the ultimate place of refuge that satisfies both needs of self and others. What do they mean? We are going to cover this shortly after this, okay? So Buddha jewel is the first one. Second one is a Dharma jewel. Okay, it's the Dharma jewel, and it talks about the teaching. Okay, the teaching. Oh yeah, I need to go back, sorry. Buddha jewel. Hey, something is missing. Oh, okay, something is missing here. Anyway. Something is missing, eh? Interesting. Let me check. Buddha jewel. Something is missing. Buddha jewel. Oh yeah, really missing. Okay, doesn't matter. I don't know why this is missing. So Buddha jewel, we talk about the Buddhahood, right? We talk about Buddhahood, the Buddha. And basically the path is anyway, let's talk about that later, right? Dharma jewel is the teachings that lead us to realization of truth so that we can get away from suffering, right? So that is the Dharma jewel. So Dharma jewel is the teaching. Buddha jewel is the realization, right? It's not the Buddha himself, but it's the realization. Dharma jewel is the teaching, yeah, and permanently eliminate negative qualities in us, right? And with the Dharma jewel, it will provide us the true protection of mind, thoughts, and attitudes. So this is Dharma jewel. Don't worry about this definition too much. We are going to cover this later, yeah, in the homework questions, right? And what is Sangha jewel? Sangha jewel basically refers to the person, those people who have perceived emptiness directly. So we can say that Sangha jewel consists of areas, okay? And we have apparent Sangha and ultimate Sangha. Apparent means the community of monks, nuns, and lay people who practice together. And then ultimate Sangha basically are the areas, okay? Now, before we go here, right, I want to stop here. By the way, if you can turn on the camera, you can turn on if it is convenient. However, you cannot record. I thought you are recording now. Okay. Hold on, let me go there. You are not recording? You are recording, right, Ivo?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Those we have just gone through the technical definition of three jewels, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, right? But what does it really mean? When you say Buddha jewel, Geshe Michael always like to use example. Does it mean that you need to get a big Buddha pendant and put on your chest to protect you? The answer is no. Geshe Michael always like to use the story of the Buddha himself, Buddha Gautama. He came from the Shakya clan, and then when he became Buddha, there was times his country was attacked by the neighbor country, and there are about 200 people who ran to him. Hey, Buddha, please protect us, you know. And those people were hiding behind the Buddha, but they got killed, you see. So it doesn't mean that the Buddha will physically protect us. How about Dhamma? Does it mean that you will bring all the Dhamma books so that you will be safe? Not true, you know, not true. You can have all the Dhamma books you can get, but when people want to attack you, you will still get attacked. How about Sangha? Same thing, right? So what does it really mean to take refuge in the three jewels? What does it mean to take refuge in three jewels? Basically, in our context, in our lineage, in the Geshe Michael teaching, right? Buddha jewel means we understand, we have this realization that the only thing that Buddha jewel can protect us is to have the understanding just like a Buddha. What does it mean? This is covered in the Dhamma jewel. What is Dhamma jewel actually? What is Dhamma jewel? Does it mean that you need to learn all the sutras? Yeah, if you have time, it's good. But the main Dhamma jewel is the understanding of the emptiness. And what is the best way to understand about emptiness? Is the pen story, the pen and the dog, pen and the chew toy, the two husbands in the kitchen. That is there's a true protection. How do they protect us? Like, for example, in the kitchen, right? When you understand the real husband and the fake husband, when the husband shouted at you, if you understand that this is the husband that comes from the seeds that I planted by shouting at the children, and you don't shout back, this is the real protection. Okay, so at the end of the day, it is still the pen and the chew toy and the two husbands in the kitchen, right? And what does it mean with the Sangha jewel? Sangha jewel means people who practice together, people who understand the emptiness together, people who understand the pen and the chew toy and the two husbands in the kitchen together. So, for example, we remind each other about planting seeds. We remind each other about the virtues, about keeping the virtues. This is Sangha. This is the Sangha jewel that we refer to here. This is the taking refuge in the three jewels in our context. So it doesn't mean that you need to get the Buddha pendant, you need to carry all the sutras, and then you need to wear the orange robe. It doesn't mean that, okay? It just means that you understand and know how to apply this emptiness in your life, okay? So I hope this is clear, right? Okay, now let's continue. So Sangha jewel, there are 8 characteristics. that we are going to cover together. So basically they are, okay, let's open up everything, right? So there are 8 qualities. There are 6 qualities, okay? The 7 and 8 are just the category, right? So the first 3 are type of wisdom, understanding and wisdom. The last 3 are the kind of freedom. What are the wisdom? Wisdom refers to understanding the nature of things, which is empty, right? Emptiness, the nature of things, meaning that we understand that things are coming from our seeds. It is never coming from the other side. It is never coming, it is never something independent and stand on itself. Never. It is always coming from our seeds. Second, understanding that everything has its emptiness. There is emptiness in everything. Means what? Means there are potentials. Whatever that we see out there, they are empty. They are empty of coming from itself. Yeah? They are coming from our seeds. They are projection of our seeds. Third, the quality is that you already know that you understand this. Yeah, know that you understand this. So this is the first 3 qualities of the Sangha jewel related to wisdom and understanding. How about the freedom? Freedom means we reduce the attachment to things. Yeah, reduce attachment. What does it mean by reducing attachment? Does it mean that you cannot have a lot of money? Does it mean that you cannot have a big house, big car? Can we say that? What does it mean by reduce attachment to things? Basically, it means that we don't think that things are. Let me rephrase, okay? Reduce attachment to things means we understand that everything is coming from our seeds, okay? Including money. I understand that the money I have now must have come from generosity that I have given to other people. Harmony family that I have, harmony relationship in my family must have come from my harmonious speech when I bring people together. The health that I have today must have come from me, from my protecting life in the past. Okay, so this means, so when you understand this, there is no attachment to things. Yeah. When you understand this, you don't have to gather a lot of things. You know, we are doing a lot of spring cleaning just before the new year. And then now after the new year, we continue with the spring cleaning. So, you know, we are living in tropical countries and we don't normally have winter clothing. We have winter clothing when we travel to countries with 4 seasons. That means what? That means if we don't go to those countries, we don't need winter clothing. But sometimes we just keep in the storeroom, you know, although we don't know when we are going to the winter country again. Or maybe I will need it next year, so we will keep. So sometimes, or even like a party dress, you know, party dress. Oh, I need this for party. And then you purposely buy some beautiful dresses for party. And then after the party, you keep. Now, the question is that how many parties are you going to? Are you going to party like every week? Maybe not. Maybe, are you going once a month? Maybe not, But after we buy the expensive party dress, we will keep it. Future for future. So reduce the attachment means we know that we have this beautiful party dress, we have this winter clothing. They must have come from the generosity, from the seeds that I have given to people in the past, so that I have all this dress. Or I must have given convenience, protection to others. So I have the winter clothing. If you understand this, maybe you don't even have to keep them. Maybe you can give it to others who may need it now, So this is what it means by reduced attachment. And the Sangha jewel, they possess a great vision. Yeah, possess a great vision. Remember, Sangha here refers to Aryas, right? Aryas, they have DPE. And because of the DPE, what happened to your vision when you have DPE? You will be able to see, you will be able to have a vision up to maybe 500 years from now. You will know when you will become enlightened. You will know which area you are going to lend your service. You will know what name people will call you by then. So DP is something very, very important. And we call it, in our metaphor, we call it getting into the conveyor belt. Getting into conveyor belt, meaning that it is a no return journey to success. Isn't it amazing? Once you get into DPE, you get into the conveyor belt to success. There is no return. There is no returning back. That means you will definitely become enlightened in 500 years or less. Okay, and then of course, because there are Aryas, there are Arya Bodhisattva, they spread love to everyone. And we mentioned that the first three are the kind of wisdom or understanding, and the last three are freedom. Okay, so this is basically class 1. Okay, this is basically class 1. And let's get into the homework questions. Okay, homework questions. Homework is here. Let me share. You can see the homework, right? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so homework question. Let's go through the homework. Give a brief definition of the perfection of wisdom. Okay, it's basically the knowledge. So perfection of wisdom is defined as the knowledge of a person of the greater way who perceive emptiness and also have the wish for enlightenment or bodhicitta. So perfection of wisdom is the knowledge of a person of greater way who perceive emptiness, and imbued means full. The mind is full of wish for enlightenment. Serap ki parol tu chinpa. Serap ki parol tu chinpa. So this is basically the perfection of wisdom, right? Going across the wisdom that bring you across, that will bring you across perfection of wisdom. Name the 3 principal sutras on the perfection of wisdom and explain why they are called the mother. When were they spoken, right? So we spoke about the longer, the middle length, and the brief presentations of the perfection of wisdom, right? The 100,000, 20,000, and 8,000, right? And the 8,000 includes the Dhammapada Sutra, includes the Heart Sutra, right? They are called the mother because the wisdom they teach produces Buddhas, enlightened beings, as a mother who bears children. So these sutras were spoken by Sakyamuni Buddhas, right? So the Tibetan, for the long, medium, and brief presentations are called Ge, Ndrin. So because of Ge, Ndrin become Gendrin, right? There is this nasal sound. So actually Ge, Ndrin, and then Do, Sum. Sum means 3. So long, medium, short, 3. Okay, and then is the mother is called Yum. Yum is the honorific mother. The normal mother, what do you say? Normal mother is just mama. Mama. Okay, but honorific mother is called Yum. Father is called Yap. Yum, Yap, Yum. Okay, father and mother, Yap, Yum. All right. The root text for our study of the perfection of wisdom is the ornament of realization. Who spoke this work and to whom? What is the estimated date of the work? Okay, so ornament realization was taught by Lord Maitreya to Master Asanga, who lived about 350 AD. Yeah, we discussed a bit about the story of how Master Asanga took on a deep retreat for 12 years before he finally could see Lord Maitreya, yeah, in the form of a dog first. And then he didn't believe it. He didn't believe that people couldn't see him. And then he carried the dog and ran across the city. And most people didn't see anything. One old lady saw a dog and nobody saw Lord Maitreya, right? So ornament of realization is called Abhisamaya Alankara. Abhisamaya Alankara. In Tibetan, is called Ngun Tok Gyen. Ngun Tok Gyen. Yeah, Ngun Tok Gyen. Gyen is normally called Gyen also. So this text is also referred to as Gyen. Okay. Ngun Tok is realization. Gyen is the ornament. Yeah, ornament, Gyen. And I forgot when, but Geshe Michael spoke about the time when he met the Ling Rinpoche in train stations, in one of the train stations in India. And then Ling Rinpoche asked him, "What book are you studying?" And he was studying the Abhidhamma, which is called Ngun. And he couldn't say the name. And his teacher was actually not happy, Ken Rinpoche, Geshe Lobsang Tarchin. So here it's important to remember that this book is also called Gyen. Abhidhamma is called Ngun. Yeah, Ngun. And Lord Maitreya is called Jetsun Jampa. Jetsun Jampa. Jetsun is the respectable term. Jetsun. In Tibetan culture, we don't call somebody that we respect just by name. We don't say Maitreya, we say Lord Maitreya. So the same thing. Maitreya's name is Jampa, and then Jetsun is the respectable form, Jetsun Jampa. I would like to bring to your attention in the Diamond Cutter book, right? The Diamond Cutter business book. There's this term called Jampa method. Okay, Jampa method. So Jampa method refers to a method used by this monk called Jampa. So Jampa itself means love. Jampa doesn't mean the method. Okay, Jampa means love. Jampa method refers to the method used by this monk called Jampa Lungrik. Yeah. And his method is observing people and give them what he thinks they need. Yeah. So this is the meaning of Jampa. Yeah, there was a story, somebody arguing with a teacher. No, Jampa means the method. Jampa means love. Okay. Master Asanga is called Pakpa Tokme. Pakpa Tokme. Pakpa means Arya. Pakpa. Tokme. Tokme means what? Tokme. Unstoppable. Me means not. Tok means stoppable. So Tokme means unstoppable. Okay. So Master Asanga. 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 This is a short Asanga. Unstoppable. Who wrote the early Indian commentary on the ornament that forms the basis for our study, and what are his dates? Who wrote the Tibetan monastic commentary on this commentary, and what are his dates? So the early Indian commentary is the clarification of the meaning written by Master Haribhadra, yeah, which is in Tibetan. Haribhadra is a Sanskrit name. In Tibetan, it's called Lopung Senge Sangpo. Lopung means master. Lopung means master. Lopung, right? Senge is Hari. Hari means here it can means lion. It can means tiger. Harimau in Indonesian, right? Indonesian, we say harimau. Lion, tiger. But here, in Indian, they use the Hari for both tiger and lion. Tibetan is translated as Senge. Senge means lion. Sangpo, Badra. Badra means famous, right? Sangpo. I think so. I think it means famous, all right? And then the Tibetan commentary is the analysis of the perfection of wisdom by Kedrap Tempa Darge. So analysis of perfection of wisdom is called Parchin Tache. Parchin Tache. Parchin Tache. Tache is analysis. It's dialectic analysis, means a detailed analysis. Tache. Parchin means go across. So here Parchin refers to, Parchin is the short form of the perfection of wisdom. Yeah. And then this is his name, Kedrap Tempa Darge. Kedrap. Okay, let's not go too much about the text. Otherwise, we don't have time. What are the three jewels that we take refuge in? Buddha jewel, Dharma jewel, and Sangha jewel. Okay. Now, definition of Buddha jewel. Ultimate place of refuge that fulfills in the state that both needs have been completely satisfied. So I mentioned both needs refer to ourselves and others, needs of ourselves and others. Okay. Now, hold on your question. Okay. Buddha jewel has 8 qualities: ultimate knowledge, love, power to satisfy both needs. Okay. Knowledge means a Buddha perceives all phenomena. Yeah. We call omniscience. They know exactly what students want and need and understand their pain exactly. Knowing our condition wouldn't help. Knowing our condition alone wouldn't help if Buddha didn't care to help us do anything about it. So they have ultimate love and care more about our pain even than we do. And then it wouldn't be any good to know about our pain and care about it if the Buddha has no power to do anything to help us. They do have ultimate power to reach and teach us what we need to know, although they are not omnipotent. Omnipotent. In Indonesia, we say Maha Kuasa. So they are not, right? They did not create our world or ourselves and do not have power to remove illness or death by themselves. We must collect the karma needed. Now, here I would like to ask you, Knowledge, okay, here knowledge, love, and power, okay? So Buddha has the qualities of ultimate knowledge, love, and power. Knowledge, we define the knowledge here. We define the love here. And we define the power here, okay? Which DCI level? This sounds very familiar. Which DCI level is this discussed? Did we discuss these three? Which ACI level did we discuss these three? Ultimate, we don't say ultimate, we say knowledge, love, and power. Anybody wants to guess? What do we use this? Where do we use this in DCI? Which level and which life tool?
Is it level 8?
Yes, good guess. And which life tool, and how would you explain it?
Life tool 12?
Okay, 12, no, it's wrong. But very good guess, okay, it's automatic leadership. It's in life tool 1. And if you remember, this is the definition of a leader. A leader needs to have knowledge, meaning that where to go. A leader needs to have love, which means that they want to bring the team to that destination. And then the leader needs to have the power to bring everyone, okay? Okay, how about Dharma Jewel? A truth or kind of reality which relates to the greater way. So greater way means Mahayana, right? And to the enlightened side of the four truths. Okay, this means the correct understanding of the four truths. What are they? The truth of suffering, the truth of the source of suffering, the truth of the cessation of suffering, and the truth of the path to the cessation of suffering. Okay, these are the three, we call it the four area truths, which involve either a cessation or a path. Okay, cessation means, an example of cessation would be the fact that after you see emptiness directly, it is impossible to ever doubt the principle of Buddhism again. Yeah? Cessation means stop the doubt, stop the doubt. Path, an example of a path means reaching through renunciation. Yeah, and here we say path of accumulation. We are going to cover this in future classes, so let's go through. How about Sangha Jewel? And explain what realized being means here. So Sangha Jewel is a group of realized beings who have the 8 fine qualities of knowledge and liberation. We discussed about these 8, remember? 3, 3 plus 2, right? 3 knowledge, 3 liberation, and then the other 2 other category, right? And then the word realized being means anyone who has seen emptiness directly, or we call them Arya. And what makes something an ultimate refuge? When it involves having reached the goal of the journey along the path. All right. So this is class 1. Okay, Rio say level 5. Yeah, sorry, not that one. Okay, now let's have a short break for our translators to drink water and to breathe before we move on to class 2, okay? And welcome to some people who have just come joining us. Okay, I'll see you in 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, let's continue to class 2. So class 2, we are going to talk about the in-depth definition of going for refuge, and then 2 kinds of refuge and 5 divisions of exceptional or ultimate refuge. Okay, so these are the topics that we are going to discuss, and let's continue. What is taking refuge? We already mentioned. Basically, it's the change of behavior patterns. Yeah, it is our change of behavior patterns. And of course, understanding karma and emptiness in the kitchen so that we don't yell back. Yeah, karma and emptiness, K and E. Yeah, I don't know why they put emptiness and karma. Basically, we like to write K and E, right? If you see K and E, you know it is referring to karma and emptiness in the kitchen, so we don't yell back. Okay. So 2 kinds of, well, we don't say 2 kinds of refuge, two characteristics of refuge. First is fear. Second is belief. And I like to add the third one, which is hope. Hope. Fear, belief, and hope. Fear of what? Fear that something is wrong and I don't know how to handle or powerless to handle it. This is the fear. Belief means there is an object outside us who has the power and willingness to help me. This is the belief. And of course, finally, hope. Hope that the object will help me. So there are 2 kinds of refuge, ordinary and ultimate. Okay. Ordinary is the refuge on the worldly things, refuge on money, refuge on power, refuge on many other things, right? Whereas ultimate or exceptional refuge refers to the refuge on the 3 jewels. 3 jewels, okay? So anything, any refuge which is not on the 3 jewels are considered as ordinary refuge, which is not the ultimate, okay? Yeah, so which is the Buddha jewel, Dhamma jewel, and Sangha jewel, right? Okay, now, motivation for taking refuge. There are, based on this motivation, we can divide them into 5 types. And of course, we talk about where does the object for refuge come from, right? Object for refuge basically is our own inner realization. Yeah, and this inner realization comes from learning and practice. Today we learn, and of course you need to practice. And then you will have inner realization, and then that will become your refuge. Okay. So refuge is the thought with its own power to put all its hopes in another object, external object. Yeah. So we have the thought, and using this thought alone, put all the hopes on external object. Okay. And of course, we talk about ordinary, which is taking refuge in worldly or material things, and exceptional, which is refuge in the 3 jewels. All right. And this thought, of course, this thought comes from what? From the fear, from the belief, and finally on the hope. Yeah, fear, belief, and hope. And believe that external object can help us and can protect us. And then, of course, we hope. Yeah. So this is on the refuge. And of course, some people who don't know about 3 jewels, they will take refuge in other things. In other things. And when people are poor, they have the desire to have money to become rich so that they have protection. Yes. All right. So these are some examples. Okay. the goal of taking refuge. Short-term goal, to have worldly protection. Okay, worldly protection means I don't want to live in disharmony environment. I don't want to live in a poor environment. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to live alone. I don't want to have unhealthy body. I don't want to have all these. I don't want. So of course, when we understand, when we take refuge in the three jewels, we understand about the emptiness, then we can start to plant seeds. Okay, so this is worldly protection, which is short-term goals. Enter the inner path. Okay, so here we need to have our own inner realization, and we start to accumulate good seeds. And of course, we can accumulate more good seeds through taking vows. Yesterday, I had a gathering with some friends. Okay, I had a gathering with some friends, and we discussed about this topic. Why do we need to take vows? Why do we need to take refuge and take the vows? Anybody wants to try to answer? What is the benefit of taking vows? Why do we want to take vows? Basically, the way I like to explain it is that when you take vows, you have a commitment. You have a commitment. As compared to when you don't have vows. It's okay. Today, I want to take a break. Okay. Yeah, stop to plant bad seeds. That's right. Yeah. Vows are basically, yes, this is the one of the three steps that we need to take. Step number one is to stop planting bad seeds. Yeah, and then of course step number two is to start planting good seeds. And then step number three is to help others to do the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Nguyen Nu Tan say go to paradise. Okay. Yeah, that is one of the goals that we want to achieve, right? So the first one is our commitment. Our commitment, right? To stop planting bad seeds. Yeah, I think, yeah, let's talk about that. So we have the commitment, and then we want to stop to plant the bad seeds. So that when we have the vows, so after we take the refuge, then we take the vows. After we take the basic vows, we can enter the practice of secret practice. Why do we want this? Because it is an opportunity to be enlightened in one lifetime. Try to imagine, we have been in this circle of samsara, not just millions, eons times. Eon times means there are many, many, many times. And it's all suffering. And it's very difficult to get out of this. Of course, the Mahayana path will help us achieve it faster, but still it's very, very long journey. So now, Buddha has also taught another set of practice called secret practice to help us become enlightened in one lifetime. But this is called secret because I always like to say, because it is like you learning driving. When you just learn how to drive, will you drive a normal car or will you drive a sports car? I think the answer is a normal car. Because sports car will run very fast, and if you are not familiar, you will get into accident, and then you will harm yourself and also harm others. So just like the practice, we need to become very familiar with the foundation. And here we are talking about the ACI 18 courses. Only after you become familiar, then you can go into the advanced teaching, which is the secret practice. Otherwise, if you don't have a strong foundation, it will be like a newbie learning to drive with a sports car, and disaster may happen. Yeah. Ultimate goal is to attain Buddhahood, to become enlightened. Okay. So there is a note, there are 3 kinds of vows: freedom vows, pratimoksha, bodhisattva vows, and sacred vows. All right. Okay, 3 kinds of motivation for practice. I think we discussed about this a lot already, right? Small scope, this is the minimum motivation. We don't want to be born on the lower rebirth. We want to have a better rebirth. This is the small scope. How do we say this in DCI? How do we say this in DCI? I mentioned before, right? I don't want to live in poverty. I don't want to live in disharmony. I don't want to have bad health. And I don't want to be in an environment where my mind is not quiet, right? Yeah, the 5 goals, correct. So in DCI, we use the 5 goals, or the 4 goals are related to the lower rebirth. Right? So we want to achieve the first four goals for small scope. And the medium scope is we want to escape from all forms of suffering, cyclic existence, right? This means we want to get out of the wheel of suffering. And finally, great scope is maximum motivation. We want to escape all forms of sufferings for self and for others. Yeah, not just ourselves, but also for others. Okay, so this is the 3 kinds of motivations, the scopes. Okay, now let's talk about exceptional refuge. The first kind of exceptional refuge is called Kebuchung Nyentu. Kebuchung, which is producing Nyentu. Okay, what is that? Kebuchung means small scope. So fear of rebirth into the 3 lower realms and believe that the 3 jewels has the power to lead you to better rebirth. Yeah, so this is the small scope refuge. Kebu is refuge. Chung means small. Nyentu means listener. Nyentu, right? Listener. Okay. And the practice is to keep the 10 virtues. So 10 virtues are very important. It doesn't mean that because this is small scope, you can ignore. No. Small scope means this is the basic, this is the foundation. So 10 virtues are still very important. Basically, they believe, well, here we talk about next life, believe that the mind stream continues to exist. Therefore, you are afraid to have rebirth into the 3 lower realms. The lower realms that we cannot see do exist, okay? Do exist. The second kind is called Kebudring, which will produce Rangyal. Rangyal is the medium scope producing self-made Buddha. We call it self-made Buddha. This is the second type. Fear of suffering, cyclic existence, fear of the wheel of suffering. Yeah? So we believe in the 3 jewels power to bring us out of the wheel of life. This is the wheel of life. They practice what? They practice the karma, the laws of karma, 4 laws of karma, and then understand the wheel of life and how to rip off samsara, how to get out of the wheel. Understand the wheel and how to get out of the wheel. Okay. Apology for the language here. Yeah, this is old language. So in the modern language, we just say get out of the wheel. Okay. Kebu Chenpo is the 3rd kind of exceptional refuge, which is Kebu, refuge, Chenpo, big. Jangsem, bodhisattva, bodhisattva, right? So we want We want to get out of samsara for ourselves and others. And we believe that the three jewels have the power to do that. Yeah. And they practice the Mahayana, the greater way, the wisdom, and the 6 perfections. And this is a must to get out of the suffering life. Okay, get out of the wheel of life. 6 perfections. What are they? What are the 6 perfections? Basically, they are the practice of the bodhisattva, right? Perfection of giving, perfection of morality, perfection of patience or not getting angry, perfection of the effort, perfection of concentration, and finally, perfection of wisdom, right? The 4th kind of exceptional refuge is called Gyui Kyamdro, refuge on the cause refuge, okay? Cause refuge means going for refuge in some quality which has already been achieved in another person. Yeah? Those who walk in front of us and have attained DPE. So it means that we take refuge in the beings who have achieved it. So we have Buddhas, for example, yeah, and of course the Sangha jewels. Okay, so this is the refuge in the cause. So when we talk about 3 jewels, we are mostly referring to the cause refuge. Gyui, cause, Kyamdro refuge, right? And the final type is called Drebui Kyamdro. Drebu means the result. Refuge in the result, Drebui. Drebu, E means apostrophe S, yeah? Drebui Kyamdro. Going for refuge in my own future Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha jewel and know that this can render assistance. So what does it mean? It means that we know that one day in the future, we also will become enlightened. And when we become enlightened, we will be omniscient too, meaning that we will know the past, present, and future. So the future Buddha of us will know the current us is having problem, and we can ask for refuge, for protection from our future Buddha. Okay? Geshe Michael liked to use this story. When he was still working, when he faced any issue, he liked to go to the toilet, sit down, close the door, and ask for his future Buddha. You can do the same thing, you know. Hey, future Buddha Sugeng, can you help me now? I'm having problem, you know. Like Rio, you know, you can, hey, future Buddha Rio, please help the current Rio now. Yeah, I think this is kind of cool. So this is what we call result refuge, okay? Buddha jewel. We talk about the 8 fine qualities of Buddha jewel. We didn't discuss them a lot just now, but let's go through one by one. They are uncaused. They are uncaused, meaning that there is no cause. What does it mean here? What does it mean here? We always like to think, yeah, to become Buddha, we need to prepare the cause so that we can become enlightened. But here we say, hey, they are uncaused. Basically, it just means that Buddhahood, enlightenment is unchanging, and therefore, there is no cause. It is not caused by something else. It is unchanging, right? Hey, but when it is unchanging, does it mean that we already have it now? Yeah, we have it now. If we learn about the Buddha's body, right? Buddha's 4 bodies. One of the bodies is what we call Buddha nature. Tathagata Garbha, Buddha's nature. It's already in us. All of us already have this Buddha nature in us. And this Buddha nature is unchanging. It is there all the time. The problem is that although it is there, but it is covered by all our negative emotions and bad seeds. So to become a full Buddha, we need all the different kinds of Buddha's bodies. Although we have this, we call it 1/4 Buddha's bodies, which is the Buddha's nature, we still need the other 3/4, all right? They are spontaneous. They are spontaneous. This is more like the omniscience. Not omniscience. What is the term? 因会化身叫什么 ？Rick,
this one.
化身 okay, let me check. I forgot 化身. Manifestation, eh? I forgot the term. 化身 avatar? No. Okay. Rick, you help me to check the dictionary, okay? It's the how come this translation is also very funny? Oh, okay, let me check.
Embodiment.
No. Not embodiment. There is a better term. I think it's a manifestation, but no, there's a better term.
Reincarnation?
No, it's not. Emanation. Yeah, it takes a Vietnamese to remind us of the English. It's the emanation body, right? So it's more like a emanation body. And we say that when in the reading, we said that when the water is ready, when there is a water, you can see the reflection of the moon on the water. That means that the Buddha is spontaneous. Yeah. When we are ready for the Buddha, they will appear automatically. All right. So it's emanation. So this is one of the Buddha's body. They are realized by no other way. Yeah. So they are realized by no other way. What other ways? Of course, starting from taking refuge and taking the vows. They have knowledge. Yeah, they have knowledge. So this is the level 8 knowledge. They have the love and they have the power. And finally, feels both the needs of self and others. What does it mean, feels the needs of self and others? So as not to have suffering and is totally available to help us. Own needs refer to the Buddha's body in the paradise. Yeah, owns it. Means the Buddha also, the enlightened being also wants to be out of the wheel of suffering and also go into the paradise, Buddha's paradise. So this is self needs, own needs. Other needs refers to the emanation body, so that the Buddha can emanate and teach and guide all living beings to this enlightenment also. Yeah. So the needs of self and others referring to what I just mentioned. All right. So this is basically a class 2. Let's go to the homework. Let's go to the homework. This is the homework. And yes, okay. Give the definition of taking refuge. It's a state of mind on its own, put all hopes into some other object to help. Yeah, Kyamdro, Semke. Yeah, this is the second part of the prayer that we normally do, right? Describe the taking of refuge which is shared with practitioners of a lesser scope. So we talk about kebuchung, which will result in nyentu. Yeah, kebuchung is the lesser scope. Yeah, lesser scope, and nyentu refers to the listener. So fear, first is the fear to be reborn in the lower rebirth, birth of misery. After fear, you have the belief that the three jewels can protect you from this suffering. And finally, you hope that the three jewels will be able to protect you, okay? And then taking of refuge by the medium scope is kebudring, medium scope. Rangyal refers to the self-made Buddha. So first, fear of the various kinds of pain in the cycle of suffering, which refers to the wheel of life, right? Wanting to get out of the wheel of life. And then believe that the three jewels can have the power to help you with this. And finally, you hope that the three jewels will help you, okay? Taking refuge for the greater scope is the Kebu Chempo. Kebu Chempo means big. To become Jangsem. Jangsem is the Jangchup Sempa Bodhisattva. Jangsem, Jangchup Sempa. So this is directly jumping to the hope. Hope that the three jewels can help to protect every living being from the pain of the cycle of suffering, wheel of life, right? Do you think it is possible to have all three of these kind of refuge at the same time? The answer is it is possible, because practitioners of the greater way, when they take refuge, it includes the other two ways. Yeah, like the lower scope, for example. Yeah, so they don't just take it for themselves; they do it for others as well. Because those on the greater scope still wants to get out of the lower realm and also want to get out of the wheel of suffering. And result of refuge I already mentioned just now. Taking refuge in our future Buddha, Gyui, Kyamdro, Gyui is the result. Sorry, Gyui is the cause. Drebui is the result. Right? Gyu is the cause. Drebu is the result. Drebu. Rick, yesterday we talked about Lam Dre. This is the Dre of the Lam Dre. This is the Sakya, used in the Sakya practice. Yeah, Lam Dre. Okay, Rick, if you're curious, when we say Lam Dre, this is the Dre, the result. We call it also path. Yeah, path, which is the result. So this is class 2. Wow, so fast. Any question? Any question? Let's talk about the 4 bodies of the Buddha. What are they? What are they? What are the 4 bodies of the Buddha? We can divide them into form and mind, right? Form and mind. Form is rupa kaya in Sanskrit. Mind is the, or we call it Dharma body. Rupa kaya and it ran away from my mind. Oh, Dhamma kaya, rupa kaya and Dhamma kaya. Sorry about that. Rupa kaya and Dhamma kaya. All right. Rupa kaya is the form body. Dhamma kaya is the mind. Okay. And each of these we can divide into 2, right? What are the 2 rupa kaya? Oh, Grace, you straight away gave everything. All right, that's cool. Yeah. So we have the enjoyment body. which is the Buddha's body in the Buddha's paradise, or we call it Sambhoga Kaya, and emanation body, which is, wow, my mind is not working today. What do you call emanation body? My mind is not working. Nirmana Kaya. Nirmana Kaya. Yeah, emanation body. So these two are the physical body, the Rupa Kaya. Whereas the Dhamma Kaya, first one is, of course, the Buddha's nature. Yeah, Buddha's nature, or we call it the essence body, which is in everybody of us. And the third one, Dhamma body, actually, sometimes I like to call it the Buddha's mind, right? So, yeah, these are the four kinds of Buddha's body. So we already have the Buddha's nature, Tathagata Garbha. We just need to develop the other three. How do we develop the other three? This is actually the review of ACI 1. How do we develop? How do we develop the Rupa Kaya? How do we develop the Dhamma Kaya? Rupa Kaya is developed through collection of merits. And then Dhamma Kaya is achieved through collection of wisdom. Collection of merits, how do we do? We use through method. Collection of wisdom is done through wisdom. Collection of merit, which is done through method. What is this method? This method refers to the renunciation and the bodhicitta. Okay, and then the wisdom refers to the correct worldview, yang dakpe tawa. Okay, cool. So, yeah, of course, we learn about all this in the ACI 1, right? Nyenjung, Samkhya, and yang dakpe tawa. Renunciation, bodhicitta, and correct worldview. Yeah. A lot of people talk about, hey, it's so difficult, it's so confusing. I can't remember. And then some people say, yeah, you just need to memorize them. But to me, I think the secret of mastering all this is, of course, you need to use it in your life. In the meantime, try to link them together. The moment you can link them together, the moment you can link them across, you will be able to understand better. Yeah. Of course, sometimes when you don't use them often enough, you forget. Like emanation body, it run away. And then like the Nirmana Kaya, which is emanation body, it also ran away from my mind. Yeah. So yeah. And let's review a little bit. Yeah. So we say that the people from which is the lower scope, yeah, to have a better rebirth, they practice what? They practice the 10 virtues. Yeah. So therefore, the refuge and the vows, at least the freedom vows plus the 10 virtues are very important. That will help us to get into a better rebirth. But on top of that, we also want to practice the karma, the loss of karma. The loss of karma, karma and emptiness, K and E. Yeah. And also learn about the wheel of life so that we can get out of the wheel. This is the medium scope. And finally, for the greater scope, what do they practice? They practice bodhicitta, they practice the 6th perfection. Okay? So I think basically when we talk about the Buddhist refuge, these are the 6 things that we want to really remember. Okay, cool. Okay, so we finished class 1 and 2, which is talking about the bodhicitta. Which is talking about the refuge. And tomorrow we are going to talk about the bodhicitta and the wish for enlightenment, class 3 and 4. Okay, so let me show you the screen again. Yeah, so we finished the refuge discussion about refuge, and tomorrow we are going to talk about bodhicitta and the wish for enlightenment. Right, this is also pretty exciting. If there is no other questions, let's do the closing prayer. Okay, so again, this is the mandala and followed by the dedication. Okay, so let's do together. Sasi puki juk sing me tok tram rira bling si nyinde gen padi sangge sing du mikte ulwargi rokun namdak sing la chupar shong irang guru ratna mandala kam niryatayami. And then the dedication. Kewa di kewa kun Tsunami se chok zok sing, tsunami se le jung wei, dampa kunyi to par shong. So the mandala is the same meaning. We offer the mandala with the hope that whatever we learn today, tonight, will be able to help create the perfect world for all beings. Yeah, that is the mandala. And then the dedication is that Gewa di Gewa kun, may all the goodness that we have collected tonight, may all the goodness that we have, yeah, tsunami se chok chok sing, tsunami se le jungwe, it become the dampa kunyi topar shok. It will become the method and the wisdom that will create the 2 bodies of the Buddha. Okay, dampa, all, ku, nyi, ku means the body, nyi means 2. Yeah, so become the 2 bodies of the Buddha. Which are the 2 bodies? The rupa and the dhamma. Rupa kaya and dhamma kaya. Right, the form body and the mind body. Right. And who wrote this dedication again? Who remembers? Who wrote this dedication again? Arya Nagarjuna. Arya Nagarjuna. Okay, it's from the Arya Nagarjuna text. All right, so thank you very much for coming tonight. I hope you gain benefit from our discussion. And I hope to see you again tomorrow for class 3 and 4. And of course, thank you very much to Ivo and Emilia for doing translation to Vietnamese and Indonesian. With that, I would like to thank all of you again. Have a good evening and enjoy the remaining of your night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Teacher Sugan, for teaching again, for showing us. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, teacher.